All right, so I'm going to show you really quick, just in case you were absent or maybe you prefer the video. I'm going to show you really quickly how to find the minimum, the maximum, the mean, and the median of a data set. So don't pay attention to this part. All I'm doing is generating a bunch of random numbers between 55 and let's say 139. Just, I don't know. So those seemed like nice numbers to have. I'm going to make this set really large. So many data points, right? How many do I have? I have 593 data points here. Be quite the pain in the neck to find, right? So I'll show you how to find the minimum, the maximum, the mean, and the median. Okay. And the reason why these numbers keep changing is they're just random numbers, right? And they're just random numbers. I'm going to fix that later, but it's not important right now. So the minimum, let me start by sorting this list. So I'm going to sort, right? And I'll show you a couple ways. You can use your mouse, but I know the trackpads are kind of a pain in the neck, right? So I can hit sort. Right, so I'm just going to start. I'm going to go one cell to the right. Wherever I have a free column, I can do it anywhere, right? I'm going to hit sort. I'm going to hit tab. Okay, and then I can use the mouse. I can click and I can drag. But like I said, I'll show you a better way because the trackpads on laptops are kind of a pain in the neck. Okay, once I have my whole data range selected, I'm going to click enter, and here we can see I have a bunch of 55s, I have some 56s, right? It's all sorted alphabetic or from lowest to highest, right? Sorry, I'm tired. Right, and now it's pretty easy to find the minimum, right? We can clearly see it's 55, right? But then that might not always be the case, right? I'm pretty sure it's going to be the case quite a bit, but it might be the case that 55 gets skipped for some reason, right? So another way that I can do that is I can put equals min. I'm going to hit tab, and then I can do the same thing, select my data range. What I just did there, I'll do it once again really quick, right? So what I just did, so equal min tab, right? And then I'm just going to use the arrow keys. So I did left twice. I'm going to hold control, hold it, hold shift, and then hit down. And that'll select my whole data range. And then all I have to do is press enter. And there's my minimum. I can do the same thing with my maximum. So I'm going to go to max, find an open cell, right? Try and make it easier on yourself. I'm going to put equal sign, max, hit tab, and again, you can use your mouse if you like. It's kind of a pain in the neck when you're using a trackpad, right? I have my whole data range selected, so I'm going to click enter, and that'll return me the max. Right, and it kind of makes sense, right? Didn't I say a bunch of random numbers between 55 and 139? And so, of course, the minimum is probably going to be 55, and the maximum would probably be 139. Again, that's not always going to be the case. These are random numbers, but I guess I could say it's very likely that that's going to be the case. So the mean, I'm going to click. I'm going to type in. I'm going to find a free cell. I'll click equals. I'm going to type in average, right? And you don't even have to click. You don't have to type the whole word, right? By the time I click in aver, right, AVER, I can hit tab. And I can do the same thing. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcuts, right, to select my data range. So I'm going to hit left twice, go to the top of my data range. I'm going to hold Control, hold Shift, and click down, and that'll select the whole thing. So again, select the top of my data range, hold Control, hold Shift, and then press the down arrow. And then hit Enter. And you can see that the mean is about 97. I'll refresh this a bunch of times, change the numbers out, and it's pretty consistently 97 in that area. Again, these are all just random numbers. Let's see what our median is. Curious. So I'll click MED, and look, that's the only one that pops up. So again, that's equal sign. I type in MED, hit Tab, and I'll use the keyboard shortcuts this time. So again, go to the top of my data, just using the arrow keys, right? Let's go to the top of my data range. Control, Shift, down arrow to select it, right? So hold Control, hold Shift, and then hit down arrow, and then press Enter. And now I have the median, right? And that's going to change a little bit too. Now, I'm going to do something. I'm going to show you, well, what happens if I introduce an outlier, right? So hopefully this works. Cool. So all I did was I just copied the values, right? And what if I just replace one of these numbers? I'm just going to replace it with a really large number. I'll put 9999999. Hopefully it's not too big. So here I have a really massive outlier. All right, so now the minimum of this set is 55 still. However, the maximum is likely going to be that outlier. Right? There's my maximum. It's the same, that same really big number, right? Well, let's see what happens to the mean. Let's see what happens to the mean. Oops, sorry. Wrong formula. Average. We're finding the average. Again, I'll find the average of this data range. Right now, before, no matter how many times I changed this thing, right? How many times I, rolled the dice on these numbers, so to speak, the mean stayed the same, right? It's 96, 97, 98, right? But here we can see that the mean's crazy. It's huge, right? Huge number. 16,000, close to 17,000, right? Let's see how that compares to the median. Well, that's weird. Look at that. The medians are pretty similar, right? Aren't the medians pretty similar? It doesn't matter how many times. It's going to be pretty similar no matter what. Again, this list is locked in at the values it has. These are still random. But the median's pretty locked in, right? It's strange. Right? Well, what happens if, what if I make this negative 9999, right? Well, now my minimum is tiny, right? So now now my minimum is tiny. And now the mean, it's quite a bit significantly below, right? I need to rerun this, sorry. I'm pretty sure. What if I make this even lower? Well, now the mean is a negative number, right? So that's obviously not the case. So my minimum is this negative 99,999. The mean, the average, is actually a negative number. However, the median is still the same. So just remember, how do we determine whether the mean or the median is a better measure of center? Well, we have to ask ourselves a question. Are there outliers? If yes, use the median, right? I think we can all agree that in this case, the median's a better measure of center, right? The mean is saying, oh, our average is actually a negative number. Clearly not the case, right? Well, that is true, that is correct, but it doesn't really represent these values. There's obviously some sort of error here. And well, the error, it was me typing that number in. But the mean clearly is not a very good representative of these numbers, which are pretty consistently between 55 and like 130, right? So if there is a huge outlier, right, such as this, it doesn't even have to be that big, but if there is an outlier, use the median. If there's no outlier, then use the mean. The mean will typically be more accurate if there aren't outliers. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions. This is on YouTube, obviously, so just come see me, or if you have any issues, just let me know, okay? If you're curious about some of the shortcuts I was using with the keyboard, it's really, really helpful. I've seen Excel wizards online that don't even have to use the mouse to do anything, so it's pretty interesting. But let me know if you have any questions, all right? Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.